Hello there guys, I'm Unstable Voltage and welcome to Cities Skylines After Dark. We've got some pre-release footage for you here of the new After Dark DLC expansion for Cities Skylines from Colossal Order. I was lucky enough to get a key for the expansion from the publisher Paradox Interactive, and we're going to dive in and have a look at some of the new features that have been added in this expansion pack. Now, it doesn't come out for a few days at the time of recording, so bear in mind that anything you see in this video can be taken as sort of pre-release, and therefore it might be subject to change. If there are any sort of issues, any bugs or anything like that, they very well will get some work before the thing actually releases. So let's go in, start a new game. I want to make sure that I've got left-hand traffic on because I'm in the UK, and it just makes much more sense to me to have it done that way around. I'm just going to pick a random map because all I really want to do is sort of showcase what has been added with the expansion. Now, there are a few things that have been added that are part of the paid DLC that you only get if you buy After Dark. But there are also quite a few things that are actually being added in a free patch that launches at the same time. So, much like Paradox do with things like Crusader Kings 2 and Europa Universalis 4, you do actually get some new content when the patch comes out, even if you don't buy the expansion. So, I'm going to be trying to differentiate between the two. And as we play through, we'll just sort of look at the things as they appear. So I'm going to start straight away by just pausing up the game here. And we've got our little starting area. We've got a couple of road connections, one up in this corner, one up in this corner. Think I might use this one over here because it gives us a little bit more space to build. So I'm going to go through and just start the basic building of the city while I talk about some of the new things that have been added. But first things first, because I haven't played this game for quite a while, it's annoying that you have lots of different road types locked out here. And the old trick for doing it is to build a section of road, just one section, and it'll unlock the rest. But I've got a little plan for what I actually want to do here. So what I'm going to try and do is we'd like to build some one-way roads if possible. But I'm going to build a road from here. And I'm just going to place it straight down the middle. Now, there is a reason for this. Now, that is a two-way road. And that opens the one-way roads up here. So I'm going to connect these up to the main carriageway. Creates a bit of a derpy junction, but this is just temporary. We'll get rid of this later on. What I'm going to do then is probably off the bottom of this road, I'm going to create two little extensions. And I'm not going to zone anything at the side of this road. But I'm going to build roads up the sides here. Like so. And the reason for this is what I can do later on, when we've got a little bit more money and access to some better road types, is we can get rid of this road here, and we can just put in this type of road, or we can just put in a bigger artery down the middle. So we're not going to zone anything at the side of this road. We do, however, need to get ourselves some residential in here. So let's start by getting the residential in on this side, and we'll probably have some residential this side too. Now, like I said, I do want to keep this area clear. That's not exactly true. I could zone half of it still, if we wanted to. We could just zone the inner half. A little bit tricky sometimes because of the size of the brush, but let's go ahead and do that. So while I'm doing that, the main thing about After Dark, what is the purpose of it? Well, the main thing about After Dark is they have gone and added a day and night cycle to the game. Now, the game does tick by in days, but you don't get a day and night cycle every single day because it'd just be sort of too difficult to work with, really. So the day and night cycle takes place once a month. So you have a month of daylight and a month of nighttime, which seems a little bit strange, but it does actually work out quite well. Now, one of the good things about this is this is one of the free pieces of content. This is one of the things that's actually being added that everybody gets. It's actually part of the free patch, so you're not going to have to pay for that. If you've got this game, if you've got the base game already, you are going to get free access to the day and night cycle, which is really, really good. I do want to avoid grids here, but I do want to get some more residential in. That's probably enough. And I'm not going to put any commercial on the inside because that would be a little bit silly. But maybe I will go and put some commercial on this side. So there's a couple of extra things that come along with that, which I can't show you right away. So I'll have to show you that shortly. Let's just go ahead and make sure we've got a little bit of commercial in here as well. And we are going to need some industrial in our building industrial area. Let's do all the usual things. So of course we are going to need some power. So where do we have a good deal of wind? Well, there's quite a lot up here, but we don't own that particular area. We could go and build on the coast. Now, this is another thing that is being added. Coastal areas actually provide you with higher land value, and that's something that's being given away in the free patch as well. Just trying to find areas of high wind where it might be a good idea to go and put the wind turbine there. I think we'll put one up there. That seems quite strong. We will need to have some pylons that just carry power over to our city. We're also going to need to have some water. We're going to need a water tower. Can't see anywhere that has a particularly high water table. Now this does require power as well. So I think we can go and put it over here near the wind turbines. It should be fine. Just keeping it away from everywhere else because of the noise. Now, we will have to connect that up via piping. So, that's fine. This is the worst part of it is the piping can be a little expensive. But we're going to go along and try and make sure that we cover as much of the area as possible. As usual, there'll be a little bit of overlap, but that's fine. Sometimes the grid lines don't always snap where you want them to go, so you don't get them exactly straight. I'm not trying to be efficient here, I'm not trying to be optimal, I just want it to work, that's all we need to do. And we're also going to need a drain pipe. We've got to get all this crap out somewhere. We'd prefer it to be as far downstream as possible. So we'll pop that there. This is going to have to be connected up to the pipe network. We can actually do that there. And this will need its own power source. So we're going to go ahead and put another wind turbine over here. And if we want to, which we probably will do, we can go and connect that up to the rest of the city as well. So let's go ahead and unpause the game and get things running. So one of the first things you'll notice is if you look down here in the sort of bottom left-hand corner, the button that normally takes us to the world view where we can buy extra plots actually has a little sun. You can't see it when I mouse over, so it's very hard to point to. But you'll actually see at the moment the sun is quite high in the sky, which means we're in the sort of middle of the day. As it gets down towards this line on the right, we'll start to move into dusk, and that's where things get very interesting. Now we've unlocked the economy panel, let's go and have a look at that. Still saying that we're not connected up here. Are those cables too far away? No, they are in range. Should be receiving power. Yeah, there we go. So, there's quite a few things that have been added. Let's go and have a look at the economy panel. Now, the first thing you're going to notice here is we actually have these budget sliders that we used to have before, where we can put more money into our electricity or less money to make it more or less efficient. But we have two individual sliders now. We actually have one for daylight and one for nighttime. So, our city is going to use different amounts of power during the day than it uses at night. It's also going to use different amounts of water during the day as it uses at night. So we've got the option to adjust those individually. Another thing that you'll notice on this screen if you have the original game is you now have this specialization. You have new buildings that have been added to the game. Now this is actually part of the paid expansion, and those buildings allow you to build either tourism specialization buildings or leisure specialization buildings to give the city a little bit of extra income. There should be some power coming in from that. They should be within range. It certainly seem to be. That is fine. You should have power. So everything's pretty much doing what it should be. That's all good. We've got people moving in. People are still fairly unhappy. Everything should be working. Not seeing many people about at the moment. Streets are looking very, very empty. So what else has been added in the new expansion? Well, first of all, we have cycles, and the cyclists will usually ride on the pavement. There is a way to turn that off, but the cyclists will usually ride on the pavement. And there's also the introduction of cycle paths. Not only that, we have a taxi rank with taxi depots and taxis. We can also build roads that have dedicated bus and taxi lanes in them, which is also quite a nice feature. Can't believe I'm not seeing many vehicles at the moment. We're definitely running. Let's go ahead and pause, unpause. City should have everything it needs. We do have people in here. So let's go up to the next speed. Hopefully we'll get some more people move in because we want to try and get some population, get ourselves some income, get some more taxis coming in. Now we've got a bit of a call for industry. This is one of the things that's going to be slowing us down. We've also apparently got no power over here to these guys. So let's go ahead and just make sure that this is close enough for them to get some power. Should technically be in range. I'm not too sure why it's being problematic, but let's go ahead and do that. And we also want to make sure that we get some industry. The industry is going to go over in this direction, so it's away from the housing. So you might be asking why I'm building the roads in this sort of configuration. It's what I usually do, and the reason for that, it actually keeps the junctions to a minimum. So we're going to go ahead and drop in some industrial. There and there should be enough for now. There's already some water going through that area, which is fine. So let's just go across here and just make sure that water goes to all that area. We'll let the game play. So we now have a bit of industrial zoning. These guys should get power. There we go. It's all starting to work out nicely. We can go and speed things up again as well. So there's a few new building types that have been added. Some of the actual buildings, these plot buildings, the ones that automatically appear when you zone an area, there's about 70 of those that have been added, new ones, new variants, and they're part of the free expansion as well, the free patch. What else have we got in there? There is a new prison, which is a new building, and the sort of crime system has been reworked completely for this game as well, although I haven't really seen how that works yet. I didn't quite get as far as seeing that. Now the sun is starting to set now. You'll notice that we are starting to get into dusk. We're getting long shadows starting to fall on the trees, and this is where we're actually going to see After Dark come to life. So you see that on the little icon on the bottom left hand corner there, the sun is starting to set. We've got vehicles coming in. The street lights are starting to come on. And we are getting into a night time. And everything looks very, very pretty. Everything's lit up. It's usually the commercial areas that look best at night, because most of them will have neon signs and things like that. Now, with a lot of these new features, there's a lot of stuff that's been added in terms of policies and things like that, so we'll be having a look at those as they open. So we've got things that specifically relate to public transport, which we had before, but we've also got things that relate to the day and night cycle. We've got things that relate to cyclists. So there's going to be a little bit of interesting stuff that we can keep our eye on. But at the moment, we just want our city to grow. We want to try and get ourselves some population. So I think we do have some money coming in, not a huge amount. We've got a little bit of request for residential. So let's just go ahead and extend these roads out a little. Now what I should probably do really here is not zone quite so close to the edge of this road, because that will give me more space to upgrade the main road in the future. Which we could probably already do, to be honest. We could probably actually get a 4-lane road, and that might not be a bad idea. We could also get a 6-lane road if we wanted to, which is probably a little on the large side. But this is where things will definitely start to get busy. So what if we wanted to upgrade to a 6-lane road? Well, we can certainly try. It won't be cheap, but we can go ahead and just put a 6-lane road all the way down here. It is going to destroy a few buildings and things, but that is fine. We'll deal with that later on. So now we've just suddenly lost our power connection because we've destroyed a pylon. Let's go ahead and move that in. Okay, that's fine. That's going to sort everything out there. It just means it's easier to deal with these roads now than it is to upgrade them later. And then what we can do is we can also upgrade this main artery here, because we're not actually building anything either side of it. There's still some money in the bank. So let's go ahead actually and do that while we can. We've got our 6-lane road. We want to upgrade it. And we are going to go ahead and just do this all the way down the middle here. Now, what we are going to need to do is upgrade these roads. And we want to make these into a sort of a 3-lane one-way road. We can actually just use the... well, the highway isn't open yet. We need 2,600 population to do that. So we are funneling 3 lanes down into 2 temporarily. But we can fix that later on. So there we go. We've got a nice bit of space down here as well. Also means we can go ahead and zone some more areas. So let's go and get some more residential in here and here. And we can also get the residential either side of the main road now. We've still got a few places that are short of power, although they are starting to connect up because buildings are appearing in between. So we don't have to worry too much about those. It's always worth keeping your eye on the available electricity. It's actually quite low. Water availability is still quite high. So we can go into our budget panel and sort that out. We can now impose taxes. We've got garbage, healthcare and education. We can get loans if we want to. Let's just go into the budget panel here. And we want to put our power up a little bit. Well, it's actually nighttime, so let's not put the daytime one up for now. Let's just put the daytime one up. Water we're not using very much at all, so let's put the nighttime one down a little bit, and that should still be fine. So we've now got some new buildings that we probably should get built. We do have a medical clinic. Now this can go next to the main road, I guess, because the main road is in a good position now. I don't want to put it directly in line with that because I might want to continue this road down later on. But let's go ahead and put the medical centre in there. We also need to go and get a garbage dump. Now this probably wants to be somewhere over near the industrial area, which is never a bad idea. So let's go ahead and put it... Well, it can be opposite the commercial, I suppose. Now, it is quite big. It does take up quite a bit of space. And I think what I might do for this one is actually grab some roads. We'll just use our normal roads. And we'll expand down this way a little bit. Love how it randomly destroys pylons to put a road in, but never mind. We can go ahead and... sort of reconnect those for now, and then we'll go ahead and grab the garbage dump, and the garbage dump can go in here, so it's kind of out of the way. Nice. Also, we have the elementary school, which we can't yet afford because we don't have enough money. So let's go into taxes, and what we can do now is we can put our residential and we can put our commercial and industrial taxes up a little bit. You can usually get away with 10 or 11%. Make sure that we start making some money. We can go up to a slightly higher speed as well. Now, does everywhere have water? No, we don't have water in this area here. So just make sure we've got these water pipes going all the way up. So that's most of the place covered. Now, water availability is dropping down, but we did drop the sort of quota for it, which I think is fine. I think leaving it on 60 is okay. What about our electricity? We're still in the yellow and still dropping, but of course we've got more people moving in, so it's important that we want to keep that up. So maybe we put our nighttime power generation up to 100%. We are getting a few brownouts over here, so that is something that we do need to consider. Now, one thing that I do find is a little bit strange, and again, this is not the fully released version, so this may be subject to change. But there aren't really any sort of demographics that allow me to see what my usage is during the day compared to my usage during the night. And because each day and night cycle is 1 month, there's a lot that can happen in that 1 month period. So we're actually really struggling on power right now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and take out a loan. And we can afford to take out a 20,000 credit loan, which should be enough for us to go and buy the coal power plant. Now, of course, that does need to be next to a road because it has a requirement for a resource. So let's go ahead and put that in just here. That's used up most of our money, but it will sort out our brownout problem. So yes, it would be nice to have some sort of demographics to be able to more easily tell what the difference is between our daytime consumption and our nighttime consumption. Obviously, we're now switching back into daylight. Our electricity availability literally is through the roof, but that is mainly because we have just built that new power station. We could probably put our nighttime budget down a little lower as well. How are we doing for water right here? Water availability is still really, really good, so we could probably save a little bit more money if we put our water availability down to maybe 65%. Probably still quite a lot. We're actually starting to get some vehicles moving around now. It's very smoggy down here in the industrial areas. A lot of smoke. It's very, very difficult to see what's going on. Not helped, of course, by the power stations. Can we see any cycles yet? Let's just go and slow the game down to speed 1. Haven't seen any at the moment, but there'll definitely be a few around. Now, one of the things that's always been good about the City Skylines game... There's a cycle, there's one there, look, he's using the pavement and going across the crossings. So one thing that's always been good about the City Skyline games is they're very good at actually doing sort of transport and transit. And that's because Colossal Order made the Cities in Motion games, which were much more focused on the actual sort of traffic management and public transport management than they were on the city building itself. So it's actually quite nice that the game is going the way that it is, with lots more stuff that we can do. Zoom out a little bit more now. So back into daylight, just trying to build up our population. There's a little bit of demand for residential, but there's plenty of space, so I'm not going to worry too much about doing that. Obviously, when we build the main road, we will want to come this way. We can probably afford the elementary school now, and we will want to go and get that in somewhere near the residential if we can. We might end up destroying a house or two to do so, but let's just go ahead and do it. So there we go, we've got an elementary school in there. So we don't have the ability to set any districts yet, which is a little bit of a shame. And we will want to, as soon as possible, be able to add some new roads and put in these highways just so we can turn these into 3-lane roads. There should be just about enough room, and if not, I'm sure that I can jig it so that it all fits in nicely. We'll do that some way. Getting quite busy over here. Now, of course, we are making a lot of junctions, but these are going to be fairly big roads, so we should be fine. We just need to get our population up a little bit more until we can hit the next milestone, which is going to be 950. That gets us up to a worthy village. That will allow us to create districts, enact policies. We can get the second loan. We can also get district specialisation and service policies. That'll also give us access to the fire department, the police department, and unique buildings. I believe there are also some unique buildings that have been added in the expansion. New policies that we can act, and of course we'll have the police station and the firehouse. So again, we'll try and get up to 950 population. We're already up to 814. We are making some money. People in the town are generally happy. Getting a little bit more demand for commercial. I guess a lot of the commercial area is actually used up at the moment. So let's go ahead. We will put in another road or two. Try and keep everything looking fairly symmetrical. So let's go down in this direction. And then we can go ahead and zone that into a commercial zone. Just make sure that it's got water, and it does not. So we want to grab our pipe, and we're actually running a little bit short of cash right now. In fact, we're very short on cash. Could take out a second loan, but I don't really want to do that. Water availability is actually dropping right now, so we need to go into our budget panel, and we can put our daytime water up to, let's try 75%, should be enough. How are we doing with electricity? Electricity is still way over the top at the moment, for now, anyway. So we can go back into the budget, and we could reduce our daytime power output down to maybe 70%. It'd be nice if this information here was actually displayed on the budget screen, so you didn't have to keep swapping between the two. That could be something that would be quite useful, but unfortunately it never existed in the base game either. So we're actually getting a bit more money coming in now. That's probably enough to build the piping that we need to this area. And we will probably go and hitch one more pipe off this. Not enough money, or is it the angle? Space already occupied. Yeah, it's because of the angle of that pipe, which is a little annoying. Guess we can just sort of do it this way. Like I said, I really am not going for optimal. I'm just trying to make sure that everywhere's covered. So we've got water going there. We've got more area for the commercial, so there shouldn't be any more demand for that. We'll probably get some more residential demand soon, which is not really going to be a surprise. We will need to extend this main road down in this direction, which we most likely will. There we go. We've got up to a worthy village, so we could buy the next area if we wanted to, but we have got some more stuff that we can use. We do get a little bit of bonus money. I'm guessing we still don't have that upgraded road yet. No, we've still got to wait for that, which is a little bit of a shame. So, what's our next milestone? What do we need to get up to hit the next population marker? We need to get up to 1,500. That'll give us some decoration, so we can put down parks and plazas, which will help to increase the land value and the happiness of the people living there. Gives us quite a lot of new policies that we can enact. Now, some of these that you will notice are specific to things added in the expansion. For example, encourage biking. When this policy is active, most citizens will prefer their bicycles over motor vehicles, so it's quite a good way to reduce congestion. There's also Old Town, which is only residents and buses can use the area for motor vehicles, and it bans other motor traffic. Now, I don't ever remember seeing that in the base game, although it could have been there and I just don't recall it. You've also got this one, NIMBY, not in my backyard. No loud noise in the night. Leisure specialised areas will close for the night, reducing the noise pollution caused by leisure. So there are certainly some things in here that have been specifically added for this expansion. I also don't remember schools out. Citizens will prefer to work over education, and only a small portion of the eligible citizens will go to study in a university. Now, that's quite a clever little thing, because what that basically means is that you can have some less educated people in your city, which means that your factories that require low education workers will still actually have a workforce. So that's quite a nice little feature. But I've waffled on for far too long, so I'm going to end this video here and then come back a little bit later on, and we will do some more building. We will increase the size of our city, and we'll see if we can unlock some more of these features so I can show you. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying this series, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, goodbye for now.